Okay. So I was explaining about how to select a random option from drop-down, right? So if you want to select a random option from drop-down, first to identify the drop-down. Web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value. Second step, create object for select class, and then so using that select class object, you fetch all the drop down options from drop down using get options method. So list web element, so collection name equal to the selection of select class object reference dot get options. So then get the size of that collection. Then create object for random class and then generate the random number, and within this count, within this drop down size only, you generate the random number and then pass this random number to select by index method, and it will select the random option from drop down. So that is the program you can try in yesterday's program. Okay. The wherever you used the select class, that you can apply this program. Let me show you we'll write a multi-selection drop-down. So this is the drop-down related code. You can try for all this scenario 4 and 5. You can try it out. So, and this is the select class you can apply for Amazon website if you want. Or this one also, multi-selection drop-down. I want to show you multi-selection drop-down. Let me show this. See, this is the single selection drop-down, and this is the multi-selection drop-down. So you can select a multiple selections. See, every selection is visible, right? So it is visible, all the selections. So this is the multi-selection drop-down. So how can you select this? How can you handle this multi-selection drop-downs? So let's code for this. Just copying the same thing. So to save the time. So multi-selected drop-down test. Multi-select drop-down test. Okay. So I need to change this URL, right? Let's change this URL. This is our class. So change the URL. So what is the URL? This is the URL. So everything is available in our blog. So I'm launching the URL, and I need to wait for the page title. So let's go. Wait, get the page title. This is the page title. What is the page title? Inspect and head tag and title tag. So you can give this. This is the page title. I'm waiting for the page title. So this is the first I created object for a WebDriver weight. Then that object weight dot until expected conditions. So object is the very important. See, this is the class, and that class I create object. Now, so we don't need this step, and I'm removing that. So now I need to identify the drop down. So I need to identify this drop down, this multi-selection drop down. So let's identify this multi-selection drop down. See, this is a select tag ID. So I'm using ID. or ID, or I will use CSS selector. It's up to you. ID already we used, right? Let's use CSS selector. So CSS selector, what is the formula?
/ID.
So hash ID value.
Sorry, hash, not slash.
Hash ID value you have to use. So then create object for select class. Then select an option by label text. So I'll use, I'll select, so January. Okay. So let's select the January. So this is the label. So this is the label text. I'm copying that label text. I'm giving here. Then I don't need this wait time because every selection will be there automatically. Why you want to give any wait time? Then select by value. So I'll select by value. So some value I'll give, maybe I'll give this value, MAR. So this I'll give. So January after I'm selecting a February. So this also I don't need. Next, select an option by position. So I'll give 1. So the February will select. So I don't want this also. Again, so I'll call these same methods one more time. Another 3 times I'll call. So I'll select a few more. Okay, let me select a few more. So cell dot select by visible text. I'm going to give visible text. Select by visible text. And April, I don't want. I'll do May. So let me do a May. So cell dot select by value. I can do July. So July option. Next. So select by value. Cell dot select by index. So index I'll give what we selected July, right? July means 0, it starts with a 0, 0 to 6, 7, 8 I will give. So 8 means September will select. So then one more I'll do that, cell dot select by value. September after I'll give value, October I will give. So total I am selecting more options I'm selecting basically. Cell dot select by index, I'm giving 11. Okay. So these are the different ways, you can same methods I repeated here also. Same methods we are repeating. Whichever you want to select option, these methods you have to call. Now I want to find out I want to fetch all the selected options. Fetch all the selected options. So we didn't use that method, right? I'm using now list element. So selected
Items.
the list equal to selected options list equal to cell dot get all selected options. See, the meaning is very, very easy to remember also. Get all selected. That means selected ones. Options, selected options, you get it and store in the list type collection. So now I'll print them. So selected options. So count is dot size method. Now you need to print them, right? If you want to print them, what we need to do? So you have to so if you want to print them, you have to use for loop or for each loop. So I'm going to use for each loop web element. So element colon selected options list. So then you print the each value. So element dot get text el on get text. Dot get text. So that is the one. Then I want to deselect. So let's deselect the options. So I'll deselect the options. So deselect I'll start one. Cell dot deselect. So deselect by visible text. Deselect by visible text. Deselect by visible text. So deselect by value. Deselect by value. So based on value, I'm deselecting. Let me show you October. I'll deselect. Okay. So next, deselect by index. So I'll deselect maybe 4. 4 means May. May will deselect. See, again, let's call this. So you deselected 3, right? Again, let's call them. So I'm going to use 1, list 1 and 1. So I'll use 1, just changing, okay? So selected option count after deselect. So 1, here also the collection name you have to change. Now I will call deselect all. Okay, so what I'm going to do? So deselecting all. Now deselect all. Still elements are there, right? You selected already. Still cell dot deselect all. Deselect all methods. So basically I'm calling all the methods. So see every method I'm calling on this class. So fetch all the drop down options again. Okay, again fetch the count. Count you fetch it. So this time selected count should be 0. So after deselect all, the count should be 0. So then fetch all the drop down options, cell dot get options. And if you want, you can select the last option and print all of them. So that's the entire code. Every method I have used already. So let's run this program. If you want to see, you put some wait time. See, it's selected. It's very faster. Something failed. No such element. Cannot locate element with value July. Oh, okay. See, no such element exception. I already told, right? So line number, you can say, how can you trace it out? Main method, line number 50. So this is how you need to check. How to find out this, where you got this no such element exception. Cannot locate option with value July. We use it to select by value method, but that is not, July is not the value.
Exist.
So this is the July is not the value. Go and see what is the value of that. JUL
Real.
is the value. So if you give a wrong also, it will fail. Oh. That's a test case is failed. So what is the exception type? Remember all these exception types. So they will ask in the interview, what are the different type of exceptions you have faced in your automation? So what is the first exception?
Selenium GetElement exception.
No such element exception.
Exception.
Such element exceptions. So when you will get a no such element exception, if that cannot locate the option or cannot locate the element by WebDriver, then you will get a no such element exception. So run it now. See, now it's going fine. Last option selected. See, total you selected 8 first time, then 3 you, so these are the 8 you selected, and then after deselecting few and 5 is there. So then those 5 are printed. After deselecting all, 0. So that deselect all is working fine, right? That's how you can work with the select class. How can you handle drop down if they ask you? What is the answer you have to give? Using select class. Or without select class, how can you handle drop down if they ask you? The normal process, you tell all the, identify the drop down, fetch all the drop down options, and loop it. Loop inside, you put a condition inside, you select the option. So that's without select class, how to select an option from drop downs. And with the select class, how to handle the drop down. So we have seen how to handle the drop down, how to handle the edit boxes, how to handle. So buttons, forms we have seen. Let's go and see now. How can you fetch the data from web elements? How can you fetch the data from web elements? HTML code, HTML attribute values, HTML CSS values, and the sizes, pointers. How can you get them? So let's go and play around with that. So we have one website. I'll try to use that website. So you can use this. Maybe you can use this text and you can get this, all this. So let's try it out, all of them, right? Say an online shoe portal. Okay, this is the heading and font. So, and if you want, you can go to different sign-in portal page. You can go sign-in portal. Inspecting see, I'm using edge browser. I'm using to identify the elements. See, input tag for edit boxes. So every element edit box are going to have input tag only. So that's a clear. And you can use arrays rediff also. Let me use rediff. Okay, so I want to show you some tricky things. I'll show you some tricky things here. Okay, so we already have the rediff. So all get element methods I'm going to use here, and also Boolean commands also I'm going to use here. So let me use this, copy and paste it here. So get elements methods to me. Get element methods demo. Rediff get elements methods demo. So how to correct this? So this is the mistake, right? So just you correct it. And you'll get error here. And here you need to change, right? So just mouse over, rename to, so file this one. It will rename. Here also it modified now. Okay. So we're good. I'm going to use here instead of Edge driver, let me use a Firefox driver, okay? So Firefox driver. I want to use all the browsers. I already used Chrome. I already used Edge browser. I want to use Edge, Firefox. Okay. So I'm already here and I want this one. So what I'm going to do here is before clicking on that, so I want to play around with this. See that? So this top stories first link, I want to get it, or I want to get all these options. So how can you get all of them into collection, right? Inspect. So get this, copy XPath, control F. See bottom side, when you put a control F on this A, bottom side it will open to check your XPath is correct or not. And your XPath is giving what? See, we are getting a 0. Top dev 0, H2 1A. It should be okay, right? Why it is? So maybe. If not, you can use oh, why it's so you can use even selector sub. You can use selector sub. Say selector sub also not giving properly. This is not correct, right? This is not correct. So this one will change every time. So selector sub also not giving properly. Then you have to construct your own XPath. See that? So you need to start from here. Top div. And then H2 A. So H2 is fine. And H2A is correct. And why it's not showing? Let me open our Catalan recorder. See, it is recognizing, but that's not the one. See, it is recognizing. I don't know why it's not showing there. but it is recognizing this is correct only. You can use this. But I want to refine, I don't want to trust these zeros. How can I write now? Can you tell me I want to ignore this zero, underscore zero, I want to ignore. How can I write this? Can you tell me how can you rewrite this? Hmm? Hmm?
Like star top div and star we can give like can
This is the
contain.
X path, right? This is the X path.
Contains method we can use.
Contains. Simple, right? Contains method. Contains method. So you're confused, Rajeshwari, with
There is a signals problem. Not only there, here
Size,
also
comma,
like
0 remove it.
Yeah, okay.
so you're confusing with CSS selectors and this one. Okay, don't get confused.
Understood.
So same, you can construct this in CSS also. So let me show you how to construct this into CSS. Can you mute Muni?
Now only we change the mobile.
Yeah. See how to construct into CSS. Let me show you that. So you have XPath, right? This XPath, how can you construct into CSS? See that? So this is an ID, right? So you can write one way is you can write the hash ID value top div underscore 0 greater than everywhere wherever forward slash is there, that forward slash place you put a greater than, then write that tag name h2, then greater than, again one more forward slash is there before a, so that forward slash I'm writing this one. Now this is the how you can convert. So simple, that's simple. Same thing you can convert like this into CSS. See, this will work. So otherwise you can use your this one, or otherwise you can put it here. Say 6 elements are matching. So all these are 6 elements you are getting. That means you are with this XPath and CSS you are getting more than one. So how to get that first one? Nth child of say one element matching. So H2 is repeating nth child of 1. So that's the one. So generally in the H2 of 1 we will give, right, index in the square brackets in the XPath. So in the XPath what you can give, here H2 of 1 if you give that one. But in the CSS selector what you need to do, same thing you write nth child of 1. Nth child of 1 you need to give. So this is the same thing you have to write in the CSS, you have to write like this. Okay, that's this is the related XPath. Same thing you can convert into CSS in this path. So any doubts here?
Good. No issue.
Yeah. So that's the you cannot trust even selector sub also. So you have to trust always our formulas, so that you will construct a proper XPaths. If you follow our rules and our explanation, if you follow, you will get it properly. Okay, let's go now. So I need to fetch this text, the first text. Fetch the top stories text. How can you fetch the text?
Using the text.
Driver dot find element So by dot, you want me to use XPath or CSS?
Yes.
Expert is.
XPath. So let's use XPath. So I'll use this one. Dot get text method. So just print that text. Sys out. Fetch the top stories first text. Top stories text. Next. So get text is done. What is our next method? Get attribute. Get attribute method, right? Next. So that demo I need to show. So I want to identify this sign-in link. So our money, okay, I want a sign-in link, I want to identify. So I'll use a link text. So first I'll identify web element sign in link equal to driver dot find element by dot link text or partial link text. Let me use a partial link text. So even though that's not I'm using partial, but still I can use partial link text. So now I want to get this tooltip. How can you get that tooltip? How can you get the tooltip of an element?
Title attribute.
Title attribute. So sign in link dot get attribute of, so just give title. So how can you fetch this URL? Sign in link URL is. How can you fetch the sign in link URL? How can you fetch? You have to read those methods. If you are not reading those, I already given the entire notes. So you have to do a lot of hard work. If these methods are not in your mind, no use. It doesn't work out. So now I want to go to styles. See, you can find out all the CSS properties of this link. So what are this? It has display is there, and I'll try to get, see some color, margin, font weight, font size. I'll try to get font size, font family. Okay. All these I'm trying to get this element, some CSS. How can you fetch the CSS properties of element? How can you fetch CSS properties of an element? How can you fetch?
Yes, yes, yes.
Get
Yes.
CSS value method. What is this, Sandy? How to be ready all this with these methods? Without this, you cannot do anything. Color of the sign in link. So plus sign in link dot get CSS value of just color you can give. So whatever you want, any CSS property of this thing, you can get it. So I want suppose I want font size. So you can just give here font hyphen size. So you can give a font family. So you can give font hyphen family. So where, sir, how do you know this? I'm seeing here, see, font hyphen family, font hyphen size. Okay, that's a, I'm checking here and I'm giving here. I'm not giving my own. Okay, so that's it. I'm not remaining thing. That's enough. Next, fetch the tag name of